We are approaching the 7:30 time slot here for AbilityMKE Now. We'll be starting momentarily, so welcome to Behind the Scenes. And we'll be starting up, like I said, in just a moment, so hang tight while we are waiting. We got less than a minute to go here for the big start. All right, 30 seconds. Always the fun. The final countdown. Welcome to AbilityMKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff, and we are here with River West Radio, where AbilityMKE Now is a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own or with people we encounter every day. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we break down the barriers and we celebrate the ability in all of us. I am extremely excited tonight to be welcoming a new friend to the show, and I'm going to give her a little bit of an introduction here before bringing her in. So her name is Elise Kavikoff. Elise is the owner and creative director of Knit Me Sew Me. It's a 100% handmade, USA handcrafted business. Elise has been knitting, crocheting, and sewing since she was 13. Her mom taught her to knit and crochet, and she learned how to sew in grade school. After creating tons of designer sweaters for herself and her husband, her mom suggested she start a business. First up were things for babies, such as baby blankets, bottle holders, stuffed animals, and bean bags. Next came a full line of accessories, including scarves, hats, head wraps, and fingerless gloves. Lastly, a line of home goods was added, which include cup, mug, and bowl koozies, dishcloths, scrubbies, Swiffer covers, cast iron skillet handle covers, and lavender sachet bags. Elise worked in retail throughout her life and has brought personal customer service to the forefront of Knit Me Sew Me. Her ultimate goal is to bring handmade back into the marketplace. Elise, I am so glad to have you joining us here tonight. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So I know we had a good glimpse of who you are. I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit and tell us a little bit more of who you are, what got you started in all of this, and where you are today.
Well, you know, it was kind of a spur of the moment thing when my mom said you should start a business, and I was like, oh, okay. And so I did. So basically it was part-time. It was a hobby starting in 2000 that always wanted to be a business. So I was still working full-time, and I was doing Knit Me Sew Me on weekends and at night and on my train ride back and forth to work in downtown Los Angeles. And it just kind of kept expanding and expanding. But I at the time, I couldn't do it full time. We weren't financially in that kind of position. And then in November of 2020, during COVID, I got laid off my full-time job. And by that time, I had already been working for other people for over 50 years. And mentally, I'd already checked out. And so my husband and I sat down and we looked at where we were. And he said, what do you want to do? And I said, you know, I want to do Knit Me Sew Me full time. I want to see if I can take this. So the next day it became a business that used to be a hobby. So I started networking on Alignable, and then I started networking on HMP. And then I was always maintaining the website. And then last summer, I had someone create the online store for me. And so that got done. That was like the biggest hurdle after I got back from Europe last summer, was we had to get the online store, rocking and rolling. So we did that. And I'm finding that my original idea is, okay, I'm gonna, have a website, and I'm gonna have a shopping cart, and I'm gonna do my boutiques, my in-person boutiques, and that's going to be it. Well, no, that's only a small portion of what I realized I have to do as being a solopreneur. So this year has been pretty insane. I've been learning about SEO and Google, and how not to go into Google jail, and how to use keywords and things like that to make sure that, I get hits on the website. But because this business is so unique and so niche, I don't get a lot of traffic. For me, my customers are people who are looking for unique, handmade items that are expertly created with a lot of love and that last a long time. So that's what I'm working with. I'm doing my best, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it's hard.
That's awesome. I love it. I've done a little bit of crocheting in my lifetime, and I know it takes a skill. It takes a special talent to be able to do more than just something, square or something
Yes.
small. It takes
Yes.
knowing what you're doing, and I love what you're doing. So what is your favorite type of thing to do? What if you were to pick one thing that you would make forever? Is there such a thing?
I would make the ducks.
Oh, excellent. Tell me about the ducks.
So, okay, so I know we're on radio. So I make these stuffed ducks. They're about maybe 8-9 inches tall. They come in bright yellow, white, and cream. And they have the feet and the wings and the nose. And they are just really great things to have. They make really good shower gifts, especially the bright yellow one or the cream one, if you're going to a shower and they don't want to know what sex the baby is. And so the story is that I was doing a networking thing one day, and I was telling the gal I was in the breakout room with that I was going to Europe. And she said, do you have any products that you can take with? A product you can take with, like Flat Stanley? And I'm like, oh my God, I can take a duck. So I took one of the bright yellow ducks to Europe with me. My sister and I were gone for 3 weeks. This duck became the hit of the trip. Everywhere we went, we were in Greece, Croatia, Montenegro, and Italy. Everybody wanted a picture with the duck. So it was just hysterical. So we ended up, I came home and I had hundreds of pictures. So I brought in my social media gal, Kim, and I said, can we do a playlist on the YouTube channel about Lucky Ducky Goes to Europe? So we did. So the first one is Lucky Ducky Goes to Europe. There's 19 videos. They're only like 30 seconds long. So you're not going to sit there in front of your computer for an hour and a half, but it's just really fun places that he went on the trip. So then at the end of the year, I did a contest. So anybody who spent $50 or more, either online or in person at a boutique, their name went into the basket to win the duck that went to Europe. So the gal who won, she and her husband took him to Europe in April. And so there's another playlist, Lucky Ducky Goes to Europe again. And then this past first week in September, my sister and I went to New York for the US Open tennis tournament and to sightsee in the city. And we took Ducky. And so now there's a playlist, Lucky Ducky Goes to New York. And part 1 dropped last week, part 2 dropped yesterday. And there's going to be 7 parts altogether. And you are going to laugh your head off when you see where we took this duck. So Ducky is my all-time favorite thing to make.
I love it.
He brings joy to everybody. you know? So
That is such a great thing. I absolutely love that Lucky Ducky got to go and travel and do all the fun things.
Oh, and he's going back to Europe next year. When my sister and I go back, we're going somewhere different. And we start in Norway. So I'm going to crochet him a couple of scarves and a couple of hats to put on him so he can stay nice and warm. So that's going to be pretty funny too.
That's brilliant. What a great idea, and such fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I actually can see the duck, so I know he's adorable, and I can just imagine the reception he would get everywhere he goes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Amazing. Oh, such a fun idea.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So what have you been surprised at any point with what items end up being really popular with people? Is it something like the duck being, obviously he's going to be popular, but
Yeah.
as far as with what people end up looking at with your site and all that, have you been surprised at all with what type of thing has been most popular?
You know, it's different. I just started my boutique season last weekend, and I'm doing a boutique every weekend through the middle of December. So I'm like booked every weekend. And it's kind of funny that, and a lot of my crafter friends who also hand make their products, you could have one event where you sell out of one thing, and then you race home that week and you make a whole bunch more. And then the next weekend you go to another boutique and you don't sell any of that thing, but you sell something else. So, you know, it's kind of like a crapshoot. You just never know. So for me, I always try to make sure that I have substantial inventory, which makes a big difference for me because, you know, because everything is handmade. So, you know, I've got boxes and boxes of inventory that are in my walk-in closet in the bedroom of overflow. So hopefully when people start to order online or they visit me at a boutique, I'll have everything that they want without having to say, oh no, I've got to make a whole bunch of things. But you know, it is what it is. You just kind of don't know what people are going to like. There have been some products that I thought were going to be really, really great, and they really, really stunk. So once I sold out of those, I never made them again. So you know, there's just things like that that you just never know. But I also listen to my customers, and I've had some customers over 20 years. So I know my customers don't like white. They don't like orange. They don't like bright neon colors. You know, most of them stick to the basics. And because especially with the wearables for winter, you know, the hats, the head wraps, the gloves, you want them to be able to match with a coat or an outfit or something like that. So I'm pretty careful about what I make. And a lot of times people will ask me to make things and I'll say, that's a wonderful idea. And then I'm saying to myself, and when am I going to find the time to do that? So the list is getting longer and I'm trying, but I can only do so much in a day.
Right. Yes. It would be nice if we could clone ourselves sometimes.
Oh my God, if there were 3 of me, I would be doing a happy dance.
Yep. Awesome. So now I gotta ask, you were making that comment about people have made requests. Is that something that do you do custom kind of work that way too?
Absolutely. On the homepage of the website at www.knitmesewme.com, there, if you go down a little bit towards the right, there's a picture. It says custom baby blankets. And if you click on the link there, it takes you to the baby blankets page. And I've made over 80 blankets for people. And I've somebody actually gave me the fabric from the crib skirt. And I went and took the fabric to the store and picked out yarn, and I snapped pictures, and I called her and I said, I'm texting you photos. What do you think? And she said, perfect. I had another person who bought a scarf, but he wanted me to make a head wrap to match the scarf. So I went to the store. I picked out 3 colors. And I said, which one do you like? And he picked the one that he liked, and I made the head wrap to do that. I've made Easter bunnies in crazy colors like red and blue and green and dark brown. I mean, it's just kind of funny what people want. I just never know. And, you know, if I can't do it, I'm upfront and say, I can't. A gal asked for a little mini penguin for her son, and I found a pattern, and I literally spent a day, and it just looked horrible. No matter what I did, it just, I mean, I wouldn't put it out there anyway. It just looked so bad. And I finally texted her and I said, I'm really sorry, I can't make this work. You know, I've been at it all day. And for me to spend all day on one thing, I mean, I must have started it and taken it apart like 4 or 5 times.
Oh my goodness.
And so, you know, but one of the things I've always been really good at is I was raised old school retail. So when I worked in ladies wear, I would go into a store, you know, the customers would come in, I would introduce myself. And as I would see them put clothes in their arms, I would walk over and say, would it be okay if I started a fitting room for you? And I would take the clothes in. And when they went in, you know, every 10 minutes I'd knock on the door, you know, do you need anything? Are you okay? And I would like shuttle things in and out like a personal shopper.
That's so nice.
That's the way I run Knit Me Sew Me. So when you come to a boutique where I am, you will get personal customer service from me. Also, in addition, even if you shop online and you have a question, or you know, you need clarification, or you want to know how to maneuver through the store, which by the way is very easy. My phone number is there, my email is there. People can call me, text me, email me, and I will get back to them right away and walk them through things. And another thing I learned is that you always have to be honest. It's really important to be honest, because I learned working retail, if you sell something to someone and you know it looks bad on them, they will return it 100% of the time. So it's better to say something, you know, say something like, you know, instead of this one, I think you might like this one better, or this color better. And that way, it's a tactful way of saying that really doesn't look good on you, but I want you to try something else. And I think people really appreciate the honesty and the transparency that you get when you shop with Knit Me Sew Me.
Awesome. And that, you know, sometimes these days that's hard to find. So that
it's almost
really
impossible to find.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. When my mother-in-law and my mom were still alive, if my mother-in-law wanted to go shopping, they lived in White Plains, I would just walk up to the cashier and I would say, I'm going to be helping my mother-in-law. I'm going to be taking things in and out. And when we're done, I'll bring everything to you to ring it up. Same thing with my mom. I would just shuttle things in and out for them, because, you know, they were older. They didn't want to have to do that. I mean, literally, I've been to Macy's. I haven't been to Macy's in years, but when I used to shop for clothes when I was working full time, you know, if I couldn't find a salesperson, I would wear whatever clothes from the store, and I would grab my purse and I would run out and I would get a few more things and bring them back in myself. Because I'm not going to want to get dressed in my own clothes and keep going back and forth and back and forth. So, you know, I learned a long time. I just do my own thing, and, you know, you just can't find anybody to help.
Yeah, customer service makes a world of difference.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So I got to ask now, with some of the unique things that you've done, one thing that comes to my mind is when I'm thinking AbilityMKE Now style here, things like a lap blanket or something that would be like, I'm trying to think what other types of things might be a little bit different than what you're doing, because that, like a scarf and a hat and gloves, that kind of thing is pretty universal that anybody can utilize.
Yeah.
Have you ever had much demand for something that would be, you know, like I'm thinking like somebody using a wheelchair, like a lap blanket or a special bag that would hang on the back of a chair? Is that ever been something that's come up?
Not yet, but I mean, patterns are all over the internet.
Yeah.
And everybody who knows me knows my favorite word is free. So I will go online. If somebody asks for something, I will go online and see what I can find that might meet their needs. And then I do pictures and I text or I email, and then we work on things that way. But yeah, the only thing, I mean, I have had a lot of people buy the fingerless gloves, because a lot of folks have cold hands, but they want to have their fingers free for their phone or the wheels and things like that. And a lot of people have cold neck. So the head wraps that I make can actually go down and you can wear them like a cowl.
Very nice.
But I mean, I'm willing to try to find a pattern for anything. Whether or not I can make it happen, I can't guarantee that, but I'm always willing to try.
Awesome. So I know you do both knitting and sewing.
And crocheting.
And crocheting. Oh, knitting is one thing I've never figured out. I've messed around with it a little bit and I struggle bad.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I did a lot of crocheting, like 4-H days and all that. I actually did projects that way, and I do enjoy it. That was something I think maybe 3 or 4 Christmases ago, I kind of got the itch to do some of that again, and I made a couple of scarves, and I was all proud of myself for doing that. But it takes time. That's something that it takes a chunk of time. Do you have with the 3 different things you do, then do you have kind of a favorite, or you like the variety and being able to switch between those different things?
Absolutely, because if I crochet too long or I knit too long, my hands hurt. So I mean, I'm literally slathering Voltaren on my wrists every night. So I find that the good thing about knitting and crocheting is I've got the world at my fingertips. I don't have just half. I've got everything. Yeah. So and I literally have boxes and boxes of patterns. So awesome. I mean, and I'm finding more. I'm on Pinterest. If I see something that I'm like, oh, that's cool. Whether or not I'm going to find time to make it is a different story. But if I see something that I really like, then I go for it. But awesome. That's the neat thing about it, because and the fact that I get bored easily. So I try to make different things. So I'm not just making one thing all the time. And that way I don't get bored. So
smart. I love that, because it sounds like you've got a really good fit. I can hear the passion in your voice, and I love that, because you found something that you really enjoy, and you can make it be something that goes beyond you that others can enjoy too. And I think that's so much fun.
And you know what? And when you give a handmade gift, not only does the person you give it to get the handmade gift, they'll appreciate you even more because you took the time to find something that was handmade. And I also offer gift cards on the website. So if you've got like somebody who's so picky that every time you buy them something, they return it, you can do a gift card, and then they can go on the site and pick out whatever they want and whatever color they want, that sort of thing. But, you know, it takes a lot of time to make these things, and I don't make much money. So, and I'm also very aware of pricing, and that, you know, I know what my customers can afford. I don't make a lot of money, but for me, it's more like, I really just want to get my stuff out there. I don't want people to go to Target and Walmart and Costco and buy things that came out of a box from China. You know, I mean, I want people to kind of change their thinking a little bit about how they shop for gifts, in that you go to a boutique, you go to an art fair, you go and you shop the handcrafted vendors before you look for anything else, because you're going to get well-made, beautiful things that are unique. I mean, I'm wearing scarves I made myself 23 years ago, and they still look brand new. So, you know, I can't, and you know, you buy a $5 scarf somewhere, there's no guarantee it's going to last you more than one season. But my things are built to, you know, made to last. And that's kind of like a downside, because when I see my customers and they go, oh, I bought so much stuff from you last year and everything looks so good. And I'm like, well, that's good, but that's bad.
I can totally relate on a different level, because I've actually have a history of doing Tupperware, selling Tupperware, and actually doing vendor events with it. And I get the same comment, because, you know, that stuff lasts forever, right? So I've got what I need. And yeah, but it is so fun to be able to find something that, or to have something that is a find for somebody who is looking for that special unique piece, that special unique gift, that, like you say, that the idea of handcrafted, and it takes it to a very personal level when you find something like that. And like what I'm saying, being at vendor events, I love wandering around and seeing. I'm like a magnet to the handcrafted things, because they're unique, they're fun, they're special. Yeah.
I mean, I have a customer at this one boutique I do, and I'm the only place she visits in the whole boutique.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so I'm not surprised.
And one of the things I did do was many years ago, I bought a wedding guest book. You know, when you go to a wedding and you sign the guest book, well, that's my email book. So when people come to the booth and whether they buy something or not, I ask them, would you like to join my email list? I don't spam, and I only email when I have something to say. So as long as they know I'm not going to spam the living daylights out of them, they sign up. And I've got like 625 people on my email list.
That's
And so
fantastic.
that's a real plus for me. So I started blogging on the website. There's a blog tab. And what I do with the blog is I send out an email. So the September blog and review will go out the first week of October, and it'll be like a recap of all the blogs from September. And I'm also sending out, I'll also be sending out the first part of October. I'm confused. I just sent out an email about the boutique. So I think I did September and October, and then I'll send out one in November for all the boutiques where I'm going to be, so people know where I'm at. And then I usually just do, you know, once a month, or I'll do it like a year in review or something like that. But I don't just automatically just send stuff because I'm busy. I know everybody else is busy. But when people see it, that they get an email from me, they know I've got something to say.
Excellent. So I got to ask then, with having special requests from people, are there any that were something that really stands out in your mind that you're super excited that you were able to do? Any kind of stories that you have to share?
Oh, yeah. I work, one of my former coworkers, she wanted, there's this really beautiful blanket that's got it's squares, and some of them have hearts and some of them are solid. And the pattern called for 3 colors. And I've made a bunch of them in all different colors that people have asked for. She wanted it in 4 colors. And I'm trying to figure out how I can make this work. So what I ended up doing was I ended up taking a bunch of 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, and I put them out on the floor in my living room, and I started writing down the colors to see how I could get that laid out so it would look right. Oh my God, it is like the best blanket I ever made.
Oh,
And
I love that.
to this day, it's like the most favorite blanket I ever made. And I've got a lot of favorites, but this particular colors, the colors together were just incredible. So that's my very favorite story on a baby blanket.
I love it. That is so fun.
Yeah.
Do you take pictures of everything you make and sell? Do you have a history? Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I ask people to take pictures too. So if you go on the website, there's a gallery tab, and you'll see all sorts of pictures. I don't use any names because I take the parents let me take pictures with the kids with the hats on and things like that. I don't use any names, which I guarantee them that. And you'll see all these kids wearing owl hats and monkey hats and tiger hats and mouse hats, if you know what I mean. And they're just adorable. So, and now I'm getting people to send me pictures with their adventures with the duck. So yeah, I always want photos. So we can turn them into a video, or we can just turn them into collage or something like that. But yeah, I take pictures of everything.
I love it.
Especially a special order, because once I send it out, if I didn't take a picture, I'm sunk.
Right. Oh my gosh. Oh, and you know what I would love to see? I would love to see the duck become as famous as Flat Stanley, because I know
I hope so.
that's something that's been, I'm trying to remember what grade my daughter was in. It was like a 2nd grade thing, maybe. They even had one of the years, there was a stuffed parrot that each kid had it for a weekend kind of thing, and had to take pictures when they went out and did things with their family that weekend and be able to share that back. So I see all sorts of possibilities for the duck.
Well, thank you. I
Absolutely love it. So, well, Elise, this has been such a pleasure to have a chance to get to talk to you here. And I really thank you for joining us here tonight with AbilityMKE Now. This is a great great chance to find out more about what's out there, what's possible, and maybe I may have to look into seeing about that duck entering a little bit of closer space along with me too. So
Yeah, and anything's possible and the sky's the limit.
oh, I love that. I may steal that phrase. Anything's possible and the sky's the limit. That should be the motto here at Ability MKE Now. So for Kurt and for me, my name is Sue Roskoff. We thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely thrilled you were here.